Hello, and a very warm welcome to all my viewers from around the world. The sun is shining, and the magpie is casting. Coming at you guys today with another 1v1 live game. Spawning up in the north, it's the United Kingdom forces of VonAsten. Meanwhile, spawning in the south of the map, we have the Overcommando West forces of CcArtS03, who I'll probably just call CC. Let's see, CcArt has chosen his commander pretty pronto here, going for the controversial, in my opinion, Special Operations Doctrine. So this will give him access to radio silence, infiltration tactics, and we do just have a skirmish going on quite early here. Some Storm Pioneers in the heavy cover going to engage some Tommies in the building there. And that's a fight that I would expect the Tommies to be able to take, the building providing better cover and of course that rate of fire bonus for the Tommies. Storm Pioneers are going to give it their best crack now, and they're basically keeping pace on DPS, so that's pretty good. But they are basically kind of half a model behind in this fight, and so I think that will be their downfall. Of course, another squad of Tommies now coming in from the flank behind the light cover there. That should be enough, and he's going to get that Storm Pioneer back. But cutting it a little close, perhaps with the retreat timing. I don't think there was danger of a squad wipe there, but it was certainly close. CC there playing it pretty close to the wind. Anyway, so to review, the Special Operations Doctrine has the radio silence, which I think actually sounds tremendously useful, but I've yet to see it be game-breaking. Infiltration Tactics Grenade Package, which is just useful and quite good. The Infrared STG-44 package, which I honestly don't rate. I think Oversoul Dartons are pretty damn good with the MG-34. Artillery Flares useful. It's like the only line of sight providing ability, or sort of recon ability if you like, that the Overcommand forces have access to. And of course at 10 command points, access to the Panther command tank, which is a powerful and very good unit. It's not that it's a bad doctrine to pick, I just think it's not got the punch or the versatility of some of the others available to Overcommand. Pardon me. Let's see, VonAsten has the regular 3 British commanders, and he has not yet made his choice, which seems wise. Bren Carrier coming out here for 210 manpower and 15 fuel. Going to be used to just apply pressure to these Volks here, maybe even get a rundown. No. And these Tommies here supporting the Bren.
Section of Tommies has been trained.
Let's see, the forces of CC spreading out, taking the right-hand side of the map, so that's going to be worthwhile. And whilst these initial skirmishes just go on, I'll just take a minute here just to talk about something not directly related to the game. I have, of course, been away in London, but I'm back now, so we should see some more games uploaded as the week goes by. I'm pretty busy this week, but I will try to upload a game or so a day. Yeah, see how that goes. Thanks very much to everyone who sent a replay into magpie842replays@gmail.com. That's really great, thank you very much, I really appreciate it. I've started having a look through them, so I'll start casting some of those as soon as I can.
Infantry squad trained and ready to go.
Little skirmish up here in the north of the map as a squad of Storm Pioneers, which apparently wasn't reinforced, is going to be forced back by this squad of Tommies. The British player VonAsten really putting all of his faith into Tommies. After the Bren Carrier, he's gone for another 3 squads, bringing him up to 4 of Tommies. That is quite a lot. Now, I've started playing Brits a little bit more recently, and I've actually got a handle on a few builds that I think feel decent with them. But they basically all involve using Tommies as little as possible, because I think Tommies are really quite overcosted at the moment. I think 280 manpower is... I just don't think that they're performing at that level. So most of my builds revolve around using Vickers, Royal Engineers, and various other units. A couple of squads of Tommies, for sure, but until I get them the weapon racks and the Bren guns and the 5th man, I'm not really relying on Tommies at all. This Bren Carrier is probably going to be... might be forced back here. There's enough Volks Grenadiers here. This squad on 2 is a bit of a risk. Volks Grenadiers in mid, forced back. Tommies everywhere, it seems, just popping out the woodwork. Needs to reinforce these Storm Pioneers. Oh, and he is now. Yeah, that's good. In terms of victory points, the Overcommand forces taking about an 8 or 9 point lead at the moment. Nothing much to worry about there for VonAsten. I'm sure he'll be able to address that as the game goes on. Tommy's in heavy cover again here in the building. Going to do well against these Volks. One has to hope. Only 2 windows facing them though. See if I zoom in, you can see here, only 2 actual windows on that building have line of sight to these Volks. Oh, and a grenade coming in before the Volks. Doing some work there against the Tommies, and this is a squad that needs to get back, and it does. Good. Meanwhile, in the east, a squad of Tommies is going to make a break through the lines, and the Volks now garrisoning this building. I sort of apologise in advance. I do have a bit of a cold at the moment, and I did spend a significant portion of the weekend having probably too much fun. So my voice is just on the recovery here. I'm sure it'll hold out for this cast. We'll see how it goes. So anyway, yeah, some sandbag emplacements being placed down by the Volksgrenadiers here. They're going to get one model picked off. Of course, they're vulnerable whilst they're doing this building. And that has to be a fallback. Looking at the build order here for CC, we've got the very unusual choice of 5 Volks off the bat with no other units built, which actually, given his opposition, seems appropriate. But the Bren carrier now being upgraded with the Wasp flamethrower launcher, that should do some absolute work against these Volks, none of whom actually have a Panzerschreck yet. I don't know if 90 munitions has gone on a Panzerschreck somewhere and I've not spotted it, and it's just building an op. We'll see if it pops up shortly, basically. Because if he doesn't, then this is going to be massive issues. I've seen him throw at least 1 grenade, so that accounts for 25 of the munitions. Is it 25 or 35? It's 30, sorry. So, that explains where some of his munition spending has gone. But yeah, he's going to need some kind of anti-vehicle, some sort of AT platform, because this is just going to force fallbacks wherever it goes. He just can't touch this right now. So, you know, it's kind of an issue. Oh dear, these Storm Pioneers need to get out of there. Get them out of there. Roasting toasting. Oh, they're going to trade for damage. Going to spend some of their health and some of their models for a bit of damage on this Wasp, but he has to be careful because the Wasp can run them down. They're going to get out, so that's good. Meanwhile, in the south, we just have some trading between Tommies and Volks. That's pretty much the story of this game, really. Just Volks and Tommies, but trading and trading and trading. Mostly because those are pretty much the entirety of the two forces here. Establishing his battle group headquarters right here in his HQ, which, given the compact nature of the map, is a perfect choice, really. I mean, it just means that when he falls back to his base, he also gets healed by the medics. So that's kind of cool. But it does kind of beg the question, if you're going to use the battle group headquarters essentially not for any of its units and not for its forward fallback position or sort of reinforcing capability in the field, well, you know, why don't you maybe just go for the mechanized company HQ? That way you can come out with a Puma. That would have answered this Bren like some time ago. It also gives you access to the, of course, the Stukas of First, which is pretty powerful against the UK forces. They don't really have a lot to deal with indirect firers, certainly nothing of that power and range for quite a long time. And you also have the Flak half-track, which is actually quite potent against the Brits, in my opinion, especially because we don't have a 6-pounder on the field yet. But what we do have, of course, is a Beaufort. Oh, a little bit of a screen freeze here. What's going on here? There we go. A Beaufort emplacement being built in what is a very potent location, and I don't believe that CC has eyes on this, and he doesn't know. So the first he knows about that Beaufort is when it's going to open fire on his dudes. Still no anti-tank, so the Wasp is just able to reign free. Up to 1-star veterancy now, and it's 1.5. So coming on for 2 stars sooner rather than later. And let's see what it gets. So at 1 star it gets the crew repair, 2 stars gets it the increased weapon burst length and accuracy, and 3 stars is speed, rotation, and the repairability. The Beaufort here is just going to chew up some Volks. Pretty potent units, this. I've seen it squad wipe units in like 3 hits, and it fires like bam, bam, bam. I've seen it squad wipe 5-man units with just 3 hits. I've also seen it take down a Panzer IV to like a quarter of its health, like incredibly quickly. Yeah, that was some lucky penetrations. Shouldn't happen, but the damage on this thing is real. You do have to respect the Beaufort. So we'll see how CC chooses to approach that, as he does now have a Panzerschreck on one of his unit of Volks. Unfortunately, that's over here on the left flank, and the Bren carrier with the Wasp is going to head right, where some Storm Pioneers and some Volks are making a push. And again, the Wasp is just going to force the fallbacks here. You've got to feel like there's nothing really that these units can do. He needs to focus the Storm Pioneers because they actually do good damage to the Bren carrier. Getting the Bren up to 2 stars there. These Tommies here, these Volks are going to be forced back by 3 squads of Tommies. We take a look at the forces roster. We've got Royal Engineers and the Beaufort, the only addition to those opening 4 squads of Tommies. The Beaufort just ripping a man down in his prime there as he fell back. And the 4 squads of Volksgrenadiers and the Storm Pioneer now being joined by a double leg. And I really quite approve of this choice. He clearly knows the Beaufort is there and wants to counter it, and that's what he's going to start doing. The first shell from the leg is just incoming onto this Beaufort now. and that's a good hit. The brace coming down just before the impact. Masterful timing there from VonAsten. And yeah, the second leg is going to add up to some real pressure there. So we'll probably see this Beaufort absorb lag fire for quite some time, but I would be amazed if it was able to survive. Now, if VonAsten really wants to make the Beaufort an issue, what he can do is pick the Royal Engineer Regiment, which of course at 2 command points there you can see on the screen gives stand fast, enabling the Beaufort to repair at a reasonably rapid rate. So you can have it sat here braced and you can have it sat there repairing, and it's not going to die to 2 legs in a hurry if you do that. A fan of Volks here, 3 squads moving out to the left. They're going to garrison some buildings in good positions. Seems like the Tommies now have access to the Bren gun, so the weapon rack research must have been performed for VonAsten. The Lig's just going to help chip in some damage against those units. Field control pretty much in the hand of VonAsten, who's also taking a bit of a... oh, sorry, no, he's at a deficit in terms of victory points. That is my bad. But he'll be catching up on that. If we go back to the base, he has purchased his platoon command post, not making much use of many of the units from that just yet. And I believe, by the look of it, he's floating 140 fuel, so, yeah, there we go. The company command post now on the way for the British player. So he's going to have access to Cromwells and some other more fun toys in the very near future. We've got a mortar emplacement coming down in a good position, actually. This is real annoyance, and it's actually in range of these Ligs, which I find surprising. The Ligs could probably push back a bit and still hit the Beaufort whilst being shielded from the mortars. The British mortar emplacement I found pretty much best built in range of your opponent's base. I mean, I know that sounds really obvious, but if you build it just out in the field, I find it just almost never gets used. For constant firing, you want to position that thing in range of your opponent's structures. And that actually makes it quite a potent unit against overcommand, because of course they like to put their structures out on the map.
The company command post is finished and ready for use.
Bren carrier doing what it does best. It's going to start toasting some Storm Pioneers again here. It's a little bit close though, goes down to half health. Should still force the fallback, and it does. There we go. Oh, Beaufort getting some action, getting some damage dealt there, but the Beaufort now down to about 25% health, and the rounds are still flailing in. How are the Ligs? They're still both at 4 men, so the mortar position here unable to answer them concisely. No more units on the way yet for CcArtS, who's now floating it's floating over 700 manpower, so he really ought to spend that. I mean, a Rakettenwerfer, I never liked the Rakettenwerfer, but I think it might be a decent choice owing to the fact that his opponent has 2 emplacements, and also this Bren, which is up to 3 stars with 12 kills. That has been the Bren of ages. That is a worthwhile Bren right there. Royal Engineers here repairing, but getting hit by some live fire. They're going to be forced back. So it's now or never if you want to pick that Royal Engineer Regiment and get this repairing, or you're going to write this Beaufort off, I kind of feel, for VonAsten. Tommy's in a building here. Oh no, they're in danger of getting squad wiped. Can these 3 Volks Grenadiers get a shot on? No, the mortars come down and flinch them with great timing there. And I think we're going to see this Beaufort defeated. It's on its last legs in terms of health, and those Ligs are firing from just out of mortar's range now.
Is being attacked.
So, since there's no other fighting on the map, VonAsten going for a capture on the right-hand side, and that's going to secure him the 3rd of the 3 victory points on the map. And we're going to see a bit of a swing in terms of score there. This Beaufort is just withstanding shell after shell. There we go, finally destroyed. Tommy's go flailing through the air in a burning death. And now the mortar position could be exposed. Engineers are going to garrison this building, but the Sten guns which they're toting, not really the best of damage dealers at the best of times. He needs to tell his Ligs to stop barraging this area though. Oh, he's just barraging a heavy concentration of his own men. This is super dangerous. Grenade going to kill a Royal Engineer in that building, bring them down to 2, and they're probably going to want to get out of there, as the Volks now in a good position to threaten this mortar position. VonAsten is clearly aware of this and puts the position on brace, brings a Wasp in, and look at the range on the Wasp, doing work against these Volks, going to force them back a little bit. And the brace is actually able to absorb the majority of the damage. I think there's no point taking this on, buddy. I think take this on with the Ligs and fight these units, because your Volks are going to go down for, well, I mean, what, they've done maybe a third, 2 1/4 and a third of the damage there to that building. Not enough. Now half. Okay, fair enough. I see, because brace has worn off. And the Bren carrier finally taken out because a Jagdpanzer is the choice. 135 fuel being spent here for CcArtS on the Jagdpanzer. And yeah, I think I like this. It's a very defensive choice, but it's a very powerful one. And on a map like this, where there's good, clean lines of sight for a large area, Yeah, that's pretty good. The two Ligs are exposed now, and they're going to need a good hit if they're going to suppress this infantry blob. The Jagdpanzer is going to take a dive. Not sure I like this. This looks like an exposed Jagdpanzer, and an exposed Jagdpanzer is normally a dead one. Not the sprightliest of unit to maneuver here, as it's going to turn. I mean, look at how much damage those Piats are doing. He does kill the mortar team, though, but he needs to get this... Oh, God, no, please don't lose the Jagdpanzer here, mate. This is the biggest dive ever for a Jagdpanzer. And the British player knows it. He's focusing everything he has on it. The support is not forthcoming, owing to the fact that everybody is at home repairing and rearming. And I think the Jagdpanzer is just about going to get out of there. But that, I mean, a tense moment. But in the end, one that paid off, and one where I mean, if you look at how much health the Jagdpanzer has left, maybe CC actually knows what he's doing. I'm inclined to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's probably a better player than I, so... Yeah, able to make that one pay off. But we have a Centaur AA tank on the field. You've got to imagine that that was ordered and purchased before VonAsten saw the Jagdpanzer. Because if he'd have seen this Jagdpanzer, I reckon he probably would have gone with a Cromwell or something different. Because the Centaur, yeah, it's a great unit, but the Jagdpanzer completely has it covered. You know, like where the Jagdpanzer goes, the Centaur cannot tread. So... we'll see, we'll see. Claiming the right-hand victory point, which is going to be super essential. Oh no, I don't think he's going to be able to actually take it. No, forced back immediately. I think that's possibly premature. No, I think he realised he wasn't going to get it, so he better fall back with 5 men. The Jagdpanzer's going to come out, but it has not been repaired. Not sure I like this. I'm thinking a Centaur in its side or rear armour could probably take it when it's on this low of health. I'll push in mid here, a couple of units of Volksgrenadiers, going to displace some Tommies who were in their way. The Tommies are just going to garrison this building for now, but they won't last long there. There's only 2 of them left. Also a unit of Volks coming out into the sort of southwest area of the map. I'm going to start pushing that capture point, and I really like this fan out, this land grab from CcArtS. I think he was bottled up quite badly because of the Beaufort and the mortar positions, but having answered those now, he's got a little bit of field control as the Lig's going to start doing some work to these Tommies in the cover here. Big push out of Tommies here, 3 squads. Now they've got the Bren guns. I'd just love to see him spend 25 fuel and 100 manpower and get that 5th squad man. Here we go. 5th squad member upgrade. Okay, he doesn't actually have the manpower just now, but it's a really useful thing to synchronise with sometime when you're falling your guys back. Storm Pioneers have been repurchased. The original squad died, and they're going to be able to repair this Jagdpanzer at a fairly decent rate, so that should be a full health Jagdpanzer coming back onto the field very shortly. It's up to about 25% of a level of veterancy, so nowhere near to levelling up, but veterancy making all the difference on the Jagdpanzer. That's a unit which basically becomes a different unit as you veteran it up. It becomes incredibly potent against vehicles the more veterancy it gets. Pardon me. So the 2 Ligs, 1 and 1 star, 1 and 2 star, doing some good work. If we take a look at the base of the British player, company command post obviously now established. He hasn't gone for a pyrotechnics package on any of his Tommies, and that might be a good thing to go for, just so he can make use of the 2 25-pounder artillery guns that he has in his base. I know a lot of players aren't really enjoying them. Oh, here we come. The Jagdpanzer is going to come out in an attempt to answer the Centaur, but the Centaur's just being shielded by this building. Jagdpanzer needs to come north and start firing from here. I'm not sure I like getting up in its face, but he's going to try and run it down, and in the case there's not really much support, so he might get this Centaur. Actually, I say that. There's an AT gun in its flank. Oh no. And he got, I think there might have been some mines there which broke the engine. Oh, yeah, and there were 2 AT guns in its flank. That was just a Jagdpanzer cut down in its prime. I think that was way too aggressive. You've got to play the Jagdpanzer sort of like a pack gun, albeit a much more mobile and potent one. But you've got to keep it, supported with infantry in front of it, in my opinion. But then again, I'm one of those guys who just likes to try and play for the survival and keep his Jagdpanzer alive till it hits 2, 3, 4 star veterancy, and can start really policing the field at that point. Pardon me. So the Lig's doing good damage out on the right flank. They're a bit clustered, but there's no real indirect fire for the British player, so it's not so bad. Storm Pioneers here are going to be displaced by the Tommies, making a decent land grab though. Getting a little concerned for his victory points. CC needs to pay some priority to those command points. These are oversold art and not yet in possession of an MG34. Which I'm sure CC will want to purchase as soon as possible. He does have enough munitions, only just... Actually, you know what? I wonder if he'll go for using this infrared STG upgrade. That would be really cool, because I never see that used, and it would be a nice opportunity to compare its power. He has gone for the STG upgrade. Fantastic. So does it hand out 2 of them, or is it all 4 of them that get them? Well, let's watch. Certainly these 2 of them have the STG-44, and it has the infrared scopes. Not quite sure what those do. I think they just reveal enemy units at long range. like it sort of highlights them. Kind of like the infrared half-track, I think. You can tell it's been a long while since I've used this commander. Can't even remember what the abilities do. Anyway, a Rakettenwerfer coming out here to replace the destroyed Jagdpanzer, at least provides some anti-tank. It's going to wander straight into these Tommies, and they're going to want to get back, and they do instantly. CC there, pretty on his toes there with the attention. Taking 2 of the victory points, therefore addressing the concern which I had over his score, so that's pretty good. Hope Soldaten are going to push in mid, and now we're entering an interesting phase of the game where I'd say both forces are pretty much evenly matched. The Centaur, of course, is the most powerful unit on the map, but there are 2 Shreks and a Panzerwerfer out for the overcommand forces, so that Centaur has to pick its fights. It's down to about half health as well, trying to be repaired by the Royal Engineers, but it's dancing all day. Let's see, Commando Regiment has been chosen for the British player, so I wonder if we'll see a glider come down and insert some commandos on the map. Commandos are incredibly potent anti-infantry units, they're like incredibly good. Squad of Tommies in this building with a Bren gun and a Piat launcher. Going to be enough to keep the Obersoldaten at bay for now. 2 squads of Volksgrenadiers against the 2 of Tommies here. The Tommies ought to take that with their Bren guns. Is Volks going to want to retreat? Let's hope that CC has the attention span. Yeah, he's all over it. Good man, good man. The Obersoldaten have displaced, probably due to the lags, have displaced the Tommies who were in this building. They're going to be able to grab the 3rd and final victory point here for CC, entering a period of some kind of field dominance here as the Centaur forced to take time out to repair, and that's what's going on. And now when that's finished, it can probably make a push here. There is a camouflage Rakettenwerfer, which might force it back, though. In a good position, actually. Look at the arc. That's covering this entire opening here. That's quite nice. I like that. And the Tommies in the north have displaced the Volks, able to grab that victory point back. So both forces kind of trading, but I think the upper hand at the moment is goes like the advantage position at the moment is with VonAsten, but only just. In terms of force balance, they're dead even, but he does have the lead in victory tickets, victory points. Oh, wow, a 3-star Lig. Rare are the days you see them get to 3 and 4-star. Combat increases range and enables them to ready the weapon faster for subsequent barrages. That's very cool. Once you get them up to like 4 5-star, you know, they're pretty good, but they're still just a Lig. So they only get 2 STG-44s by the look of it. This guy's got a rifle. So's this guy. So 2 STG-44s. How much does the upgrade package cost? 90 for 2 STG-44s. That's odd. The description here also says it's an assault. It's a submachine gun, but the STG-44 is pretty much an assault rifle. It's pretty hard to argue otherwise. Centaur here in good position, going to get to 1-star veterancy. Just forcing these Volks back. Another squad of Obersoldaten has joined the field, and I'd love to see these guys get the LMG-34s, to be honest. It's cheaper as well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just not sure that these STG-44s are worth it. I'll try and keep an eye on this squad if they get into fights moving forwards. We've got a brand new Cromwell. No, sorry, it's a Churchill. So the Anvil tactics have been selected for the British player. Let's just refresh ourselves of what that gives access to. Of course, it gives access to the Churchill, which we now see rolling in. He gets the heavy engineer upgrades. He gets airburst shells for his sorry, there's a battle going on. I'll just try and frame that. He gets the airburst shells for his base cannons and call-ins, and he also gets the early warning, which allows his friendly points to have increased line of sight. And here comes the Centaur. That's going to start chewing into these Volks. He needs to be careful. There's a good setup here. This Rakettenwerfer was to move up to this fence. There we go. This turn. And there's good Shrek hits going down on this Centaur. I think actually line of sight from this Panzerwerfer is, Rakettenwerfer is being blocked. He needs to just put it here. There's Churchill taking up position in a sort of north centre of the map, and that is going to start to work against the Obersoldaten if they stay there, which they shouldn't.
Enemy down to 200 points.
In my experience, it's the veterancy level 1 that makes the most difference with this Churchill, because it enables the crew to sort of fire out of all of the little hatches and stuff all over the tank, which seems to significantly increase the vehicle's DPS. Tommy's in the building here, slightly beleaguered, and they're going to get out as the grenade barrage comes in. And they're able to evade most of the damage from that. Good micro from VonAsten, very nice. The Overcommand force is down to 195, so beginning to get a little desperate. Obersoldaten forced back by the Churchill. The Light's firing for good effect at the back as a new wave of British forces comes forward. The Tommies, Royal Engineers, and of course that all-important Centaur going to come forward with the support of an anti-tank gun. 147 fuel, the fuel count for VonAsten, and sorry, for CcArtS. And he needs to decide, does he go for the Panzer IV now and try and make a play with that, or does he wait for the Panther? I think the correct play is to wait for the Panther, and that's on account of the fact that you know that the British forces already consist of a Churchill. As a Rakettenwerfer gets mowed down by the Centaur in mid, Things looking a bit risky here. Oh, and a good hits from the Ligs, killing 3 of the Royal Engineers immediately. Unlucky for VonAsten there. And British forces content to just hold this area. I think if he'd have just pushed forward with the Centaur, he could have just moved it here and started mowing down these Ligs a little bit and forced this infantry to respond. And then he could have just kited backwards with the Centaur, maybe brought the Churchill in from the north to get some hits on that infantry as it crosses this area. Would have quite liked that. He's in a position where if he brings this, if we look at the minimap, if he brings this Churchill across to about here, supports it with 1 squad of Tommies, then he can basically get the overcommand player really trapped in his base. But he's not going to go for that just now, because he doesn't have commentator mode and no fog of war like I do. So the Centaur here moving forward. It's gonna lay down the fire on these guys. I wonder if we're going to see it use its ability here. It's called the 20mm strafing fire. On the left of the map, some Storm Pioneers engaging some Tommies, so there's that fight going on as well. Now, where are the infrared STG Oversoul on in all this? Basically, either being forced back or at base, so really not achieving very much. And you can see no veterancy on those 2 units. So that's like 800 manpower and 180 munitions that really hasn't had any impact on this game, really. Pardon me. Certainly none that I've seen. This Churchill taking some damage, going to come on in now. Now he has enough fuel and manpower for the Panther, so he's surely not saving for a Command Panther. He's surely not saving. That just seems like a push too far. He doesn't quite have the manpower for a Panther yet. He's just reinforced some squads. I'd love to see him get that Panther though. These Tommies just want to get into the capture point. Here we go. Now they're on it. And this period of dominance for the British player VonAsten extending now. And I have to say, although the forces rosters appeared equal at some points in the game, the fact that there's a Churchill and a Centaur and no real answer on the table for the overcommand forces means that the British player VonAsten is able to command this phase of the game really nicely. And I think, imagine how this would look if that Jagdpanzer was still alive and on 1 or 2 star veteran. Completely different. You could have the Jagdpanzer parked here. That means it's going to cover all this area. And the Churchill would have to be so much more scarce, the Centaur would be virtually useless. And all this infantry would be really good, because they can push forward, and the Jagdpanzer can push, and then the infantry can push, and then the Jagdpanzer can push. So, yeah, I think it was a shame that CcArtS decided to go for the risky play with his Jagdpanzer. I mean, fair enough, you've got to make these calls, and certainly when you're a high-level player, you feel a lot more confident doing so. But I just, obviously that one wasn't quite the right one earlier on. Pardon me, as the 6-pounders were able to take out the Jagdpanzer. Churchill is being repaired, which is good. Nearly halfway, well, just over halfway there to that veterancy level 1. But 150 tickets remaining now, 147 the count. And that, of course, means that he only has 48 ticks left before he's going to be out of the game, and that is not much time. Now, the good news is most of his army is reinforced and ready to rock. The bad news is most of his army pretty much doesn't do much against these forces. But the Panther is here, and this is the last-ditch effort. If the Panther doesn't make or break a play here, he's pretty much out of this game, I would say. Because if he loses the Panther, there's just no way he's going to take back the map in time. Now he finds the Churchill. Whoa! And a 6-pounder AT gun. He needs to get out, get out, get out. That Panther needs to be out of there. Needs to be so out of there. I'm not sure he can take this fight against the Churchill, because that gun on the Churchill is pretty good. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, we've got an infantry exchange as a Rakettenwerfer is picked off by Tommies. Seemingly CC's attention either elsewhere. Oh no, the Panther is getting run down by a Churchill. A call-in being used. It's the air supremacy operation. So after a long period of time, heavy bombers are going to attack this target. And here they come. That is just surely a dead Panther, and with that, I think it's safe to say that CcArtS' chances in this game very slim. Fantastic positioning and usage of the call-in there from VonAsten. Clearly quite comfortable playing the British forces, and I'm really loving the way he went for the 4 Tommy opener, because I personally, and there we go, there's the GG from CcArtS, and fair enough too. Yeah, I really, really like VonAsten's playstyle there. Very different to the way I myself have been using the Brits, very different to the way I've seen others use the Brits. My opening build order tends to be Vickers, then Tommy, then go up to tech level, and then do other things basically. But I just think that Tommies for 280 manpower are so weak in the early game. I do not like to rely on them. But VonAsten, he just does what he wants. He just gets those 4 Tommies out there, actually made them work. Now, here's a thought, okay? The opening build order for CcArtS was to go to 4 squads of Volks, okay? Now, that means that he only had 1 squad of Storm Pioneers. And we know that Tommies just about equal Volks, so 4 squads of Volks versus 4 squads of Tommies. That's like, they can just trade, and it's going to be whoever has the most squads in the location to win that fight. Now imagine instead of buying those Volks, CcArtS spends the money on, like, I don't know, 1 Volk and 2 more Storm Pioneer squads. That would give him 3 Storm Pioneer squads and 1 squad of Volks. And Storm Pioneer squads, like, in the early game, just beat Tommies. They just run up to them and shoot them. And there's just nothing Tommies can do. They don't have grenades, they don't have weapon racks, they've only got 4 men. Even if they're in heavy cover, the Storm Pioneers are just going to be like, what up? I'm going to shoot you with my STG-44, like, all up close. And especially if you've got 2-3 squads of them, it just gets grimy. So, I think CcArtS there kind of gave VonAsten a fair fight by picking the Volks Grenadiers, and not going for, wow, and even a Firefly coming out, and not going for Storm Pioneers. Also, imagine how different the game would have looked if perhaps CcArtS had gone for a Kugelwagen at slightly earlier timing. Now, I'm not saying it would have looked like, oh my god, completely different, but because there was a Bren carrier on the field. But the Kugelwagen can be quite commanding against British players, particularly when they don't go for the Bren, to be fair, so I can see why he didn't go for the Kugel. So yeah, a pretty good game there. It went right to the 29-minute mark. We were able to see a lot of tech from both sides, and yeah, I just think that the game would have looked completely different. I think the pivotal moment of that game was the Jagdpanzer play, when he decided to try and spike the Centaur with the Jagdpanzer. Didn't pay off, Centaur survived, the Jagdpanzer died, and from then on, I don't think CcArtS really ever had a comfortable look into the game, because he was just locked out behind the Centaur, behind the Churchill. So yeah, good game there. So I'll start uploading this one, and I will try to upload more as soon as I can. So thanks very much for watching. This is Magpie842 signing out.